Welcome to the opening round of the 2012 KTM European Junior Cup from Assen in the Netherlands. Expanded championship this year, rising from 6 races to 8, and the series will move from Assen to 2 Italian rounds, Monza, followed by Misano, then on to Spain in Aragon. We then move to Eastern Europe with the Brno round in the Czech Republic before going to the British circuit at Silverstone, before heading back to the Nürburgring and ending the season at Manicourt. So the grid forming up then after an interesting qualifying session which saw mixed conditions, and it's the Dutch wildcard rider Rob Hartog, the number 6 machine, that will be lining up on the front row of the grid. Latvian rider Garish Roškalns takes second ahead of Lucas Pasek, who rides the one of the Bogdanka machines, and Brit Jamie Patterson rounds out the front row of the grid. 20 riders from 12 nations will be taking part in the opening race of the championship, reduced to 7 laps, which is just shy of 32 kilometres. Other riders of note, second row of the grid, made up by the Australian rider, that is Sepp Scacella, and former 125 racer. Spent quite a bit of time in Italy with Andrea Iannone, the Moto2 rider, did Sepp, and Sepp will be looking to kickstart his championship in fine style here at the historic Assen circuit. Josh Harland, many of you will remember from last year at the Manicourt round when the championship was running the 250 machines, and Josh Harland debuting last year in the championship and taking victory at Manicourt. Ahead of Jake Lewis, who in the off-season, Jake returned to his native New Zealand, where he wrapped up the Supersport Championship of New Zealand. Gaston Garcia is the first Spaniard in 7th ahead of Lucas Wimmer, and that is the second row of the grid. Other riders that should be really watched out for during this race, Jean-Francois Demoulin, another rider that did contest the championship last year. He's on the 3rd row of the grid. Brandon Key, who this weekend has had a couple of off-track excursions. He's starting 14th on the grid, and the likeable Norwegian rider Stinius Viking Odegaard rounds out 16th position on the 4th row. So the pace car following the riders off then on the warm-up lap here at Assen. 4.5 kilometres circuit, 11 left-hand corners, 6 right-hand corners, and the longest straight here is the back straight, just under 600 metres. So the championship then, an integral part now of the World Superbike Championship, and the riders now just making their way through the new part of the circuit. Assen, as many of you regular racers will remember, race followers will remember, the Assen circuit shortened a few years ago, and we now have quite a stop-start section through the first corner of Harbocht into Magic, and then into the left-handed hairpin, which leads the guys out onto Struben and the back straight. Leading them round then on the warm-up lap, and number 23 there on the KTM 690 Duke machines. That's Adrian Pasek from Poland, and riders nerves and I guess really got a lot of expectation from all of these guys. They're putting a lot into this. Some of them travelling, as I say, from the other side of the world as the riders now make their way through into the second part of the lap. This is where the circuit opens up and becomes quite fast and flowing. And this is going to be a hard one to predict. The top 5 riders in qualifying covered by less than a second. But I think on paper you would have to say that Rob Hartog is looking strong. Only got the call up to ride in this championship literally a few days ago did Rob, and Rob Hartog is the nephew of former Grand Prix star, that is of course Will Hartog, and Will a regular in the Grand Prix Championship of yesteryear. So dark clouds overhead, and we have seen mixed conditions for the 2 Superbike races earlier today, and that first epic battle in the World Superbike Championship cut short by rain, which involved about 9 riders, but as the riders come round then to complete the lap, let's just run through some of the other riders that are going to be taking part in this year's championship. As I said, we have 12 nations making up the series this year. We've got riders from France, Spain, the United Kingdom, the Netherlands, of course, in the shape of Rob Hartog, who's taken pole position. We've got a couple of Polish riders in there. Brandon Key, he's obviously made the trek across from stateside in the US of A. Jake Lewis, I've already mentioned, the reigning Supersport champion of New Zealand. We've got a Ukrainian, Mikhalchik, the number 55 rider, and he's riding the Wind Racing KTM Duke. Javi Orellana, Gaston Garcia, and Christian Vidal are the Spanish riders. 4th Spanish rider is Sergio Mazanek, and he is riding for the SMG KTM team. So here we go then, expectant crowd looking forward to what promises to be an exciting opening 7-lap race for the 2012 KTM European Junior Cup. And garish Rashkans there, all kinds of antics on the grid, and I'm not sure what exactly he's doing or praying to, but here we go then. So we get ready for the opening round of the championship, and you can see the riders now getting a little bit twitchy. The flag marshal moves away then to the opposite side of the track there. We look now for the lights. When the lights go out, this will be the start of the 2012 European Junior Cup, the KTM Junior Cup, and they're holding them a long time now. The nibs, here we go, red lights, and it is go, 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 and it's a great start by Rob Hartog, lifts the front wheel, and here we go then, 20 riders down in towards turn 1 into Harbach, and who's going to get the whole shot? Is it Rob Hartog? One of the riders very, very late on the brakes further back, but do they all get safely around? And I think they do, and it looks to me like Gaston Garcia's up in about 6th position, and the riders just finding their way around. But it looks like it's Hartog that's made the whole shot and made the break, as there is Brandon Key just going around the outside as they go into the hairpin. And 7 laps, as we say, ahead of the guys. Into Struben, be careful, left-hand tyre. And one of the riders just getting left a little bit at the back, but I'm sure that he will catch up. And they're all safely round, heading then onto the back straight. And that certainly looks like it is Hartog making a break. Sepp Scarcella looks to have made a really good start. Bumping and boring, they go down the back straight. And oh, that's a bit harsh as they go in towards the end of that straight. And that looks also as if Josh Harland has made a good start as well. Gaston Garcia as up on the inside into 4th position. And we move around now. This is an exciting race, as we would expect. That's 4 corners in, and already we're seeing places, and just a little bit hot there, and that looked a bit like it was Josh Harlan. But it is Hartog at the front. Rob Hartog, the Moto Voodoo wildcard rider, and I'll explain a little bit about the Moto Voodoo wildcard rider. Simon Crayford, the former Grand Prix star, heavily involved with the series this year, and they will be picking a wildcard rider at each of the rounds, and the wildcard rider will be of the nationality, as bumping and boring they go as they come through Steckenveld on towards De Bolt now and through Duckerschlof. This is where the riders build it up, and Hartog is making a break for it as the other guys trip over themselves in towards us again. 4 abreast as they go through the left-hand side up into 2nd place. That looked like the number 58, or was it 60? I don't think it was Wimmer. Wimmer's up into 2nd as they come round to complete the end of the 1st lap. And again, do they all get it round? So far, so good. That's Gaston Garcia around the outside there, and he's up into 5th position we go. Number 10 is Jamie Patterson, just hooked onto the back of these guys as here we go then into the 2nd lap. That's 1 lap down, and it's Hartog leading it from Wimmer. Sepp Scarcella, the Australian, and that's Adrian Pasek, and Pasek moves up from 4th into 3rd, but already over a 2nd clear. Jean-Francois Demoulin's had a fantastic start from 14th, the Frenchman. He knows the circuit from last year, and he's just ahead of Gaston Garcia and Arthur Wilbesky. And Jake Lewis, well, Jake not really happy, I don't think, is up on the inside. Oh, not quite, and that's getting a bit frantic there between the two riders as we come onto the back straight. Jamie Patterson in 9th, Garish Roskans in 10th, and Christian Vidal. Well, Christian Vidal had a torrid time in qualifying. He was on the back row of the grid along with Kaz Hashmi, but he's made a good start. Number 23 that thought about it on the inside. That is, of course, Adrian Pasek. And lots of people do think that Adrian Pasek should have a good season. He's part of the Bogdanka squad, and those of you familiar with the World Supersport Championship will know that Bogdanka have 6 riders in this championship. And it looks like the 2 battling riders that are catching up. And that looks to me as if Rob Hartog is being caught a little bit. 47 is Scarcella, and Scarcella, very confident young rider, and very interesting character, very colourful character, and brings a lot of enthusiasm to the championship. And I'm not sure what line he's taking there, but these riders, up-and-coming talent, as we say, from around the globe, and this promises to be an exciting championship. And they have Pasek. Pasek has bridged that gap. It's now a breakaway of 3 as they come round to complete lap 2. Hell of a battle going on behind us, and that's Jean-Francois Demoulin, who's moved up now into 5th place. And as I was about to say, Demoulin qualifying back, well, way back it seemed, as through on the inside. Again goes Scarcella. So Scarcella and Wimmer. Oh, and down, and Scarcella's gone down. Well, did he clip the grass there? I think he possibly did. And just as I was bigging him up, the commentator's curse, I was about to say that a colourful character and one of a number of riders making the transition several thousands of miles. And now I'm sure we'll get a replay of that, but that looked to me like it was Scarcella that just clipped the paint. And it was indeed. It comes up on our timing screens, the number 47, Giuseppe Scarcella. And Scarcella has bitten the dust in the opening round of the championship, and that's not the way that he wanted his series to start. Okay, so meanwhile, at the front, we've got a breakaway of 3. It's Rob Hartog. He only got the call up a couple of days ago that he would be racing in this championship, and Pasek's not wasting any time, gets in the draft and pulls out. It's Hartog from Pasek. Lucas Wimmer's doing a great job hanging on the back of these, as Jean-Francois Demoulin is also now, and it's Pasek who hits the front. So we're halfway around the 3rd lap, and Jean-Francois Demoulin now will be looking to bridge that gap. Gaston Garcia is hanging on in 6th position. Arthur Wilbeski, and well, this is looking really, really good. Jake Lewis now finding his feet, and he's dragging Jamie Patterson with him, the Irish rider. And Jamie Patterson, of course, started this one on the front row of the grid. Josep Orellana, and oh, you just see it there, and it looks to me that's a replay of Scarcella, and Gaston Garcia very, very lucky indeed not to get caught up in that one. Just a little bit too hot into the chicane corner, which has taken many a famous rider, Pierre Francesco Killy, of course, and Foggy, and oh, and Hartog hits back, and the crowd are loving this. And Hartog hits back. It's a 3-way battle, and Wimmer on the back of them as well. So the 3 riders, and they're definitely away with this one into the chicane then to complete lap number 3. And it's Hartog from Pasek and Lucas Wimmer, the Austrian, helped by KTM Austria, the number 58 machine. Over the line we go then into the 4th lap, and down into turn 1. And Pasek hits back. Pasek hits back on the inside. This is turning into a right old dust-up. This promises to be, as I said, the KTM European Junior Cup. These guys really are the stars of the future, and what a great championship that the guys have put together here. Simon Rayner and Jerry Bryce, absolutely instrumental in bringing this championship to the fore, and they're also involved themselves with the Superstock 600 team. And a lot of these riders will be looking to get into Superstock 600 and obviously then moving on through the series into World Supersport and World Superbike. So Pasek hits the front then. Hartog is fighting back again round the outside, and he's brave, you've got to say that. The youngster from the Netherlands, and round the outside, that's the 2nd lap in a row. Will Pasek sit behind him? And this lap he does. So it's Hartog as we go round then. We're a half race distance now, halfway round the lap, and it's Pasek and Wimmer, as I've said, doing a really, really good job. Behind them now, Demoulin hits the front of that chasing battle, and it looks to me as, again, Pasek and Hartog are swapping paint and elbowing, and this is giving Wimmer every opportunity to keep with them as we go round now, halfway round onto the back section, as the riders start building it up. Probably one of the fastest parts of the circuit. And oh, Wimmer's down, Wimmer gets it absolutely wrong. Just again, commentator's curse. I was saying it gives him a chance to hang up, and I wonder whether he just got a little bit unsighted there. He runs back to the machine as the other riders, and he picks it up. Can he get it going again? What an absolute mistake there, and what a shame for the young Austrian. And just as I was saying that, and no, that's it, race over. And Wimmer is the 2nd rider then to bite the dust in the opening round of the championship. That AstroTurf still damp. I mean, you wouldn't think it looking at the camera with the sun now beating down on the historical Assen circuit as the 2 riders again at the front swap paint, and it's Pasek back to the front. What a shame for Wimmer. So he'll be hoping for better luck as the championship moves on to the 2nd round in 2 weeks' time to Monza. So let's concentrate on Assen then. We've got 3 laps to go, and it's still Hartog from Pasek. And you would have to say now, barring a mistake, that it will be one of these that will be on the top step of the podium. Arthur Wilbeski, and he's made a great ride through the field up into 3rd position ahead of Jean-Francois Demoulin, Gaston Garcia, and Javi Orellana. That's the 2 Spaniards battling away. And Josh Harland and Jake Lewis, well, they were locked together in the race last year, weren't they, in Manicourt, battling it out on the 250 machines. And again, they can't be separated. Just 0.3 of a second separates those 2 battling youngsters as we now look back at the battle. Oh, and again, it's arms and legs everywhere, and that's Wilbeski and Demoulin. And Demoulin's brave as well. It seems to me that Hartog and Demoulin goes in a bit deep, and Wilbeski comes back round the outside. So 2 battles of 2. And this is obviously the battle for 3rd position and the final rostrum position. Looking at it, though, I think it's going to be a bit of a tall order for these 2 to bridge that gap. Gaston Garcia just in the background there. The Spanish rider, former Moto2 rider, of course, in the Spanish Championship, the number 75 Spanish youngster. And he is in a comfortable 5th position at the moment. So we concentrate then on this battle. Keep off the curbs, guys, and they certainly do. And it's Dumoulin and Wilbeski. Dumoulin, again, his sister actually raced in the championship with him last year, and some great rides by the two siblings. But this year, it's all eyes on the Frenchman Jean-Francois Dumoulin. We've already seen earlier in the day the Frenchman Sylvain Guintoli go on to take his first World Superbike victory, and well, it certainly seems with the likes of Jules Cluzel in World Supersport that we have a number of French riders that are doing the business in this year's championship. Then 2 laps to go and still the battle at the front rages. It's Pasek now, 0.6 of a second ahead of Hartog, and these two are really still at it. This is for a podium, boys. Remember, it's a long championship, though. We've got to make sure that you're getting points on the board, and that will be the thoughts going through the minds of Giuseppe Scarcello and Lucas Wimmer, two of the guys that crashed out early in this race. Let's look back then. Haaland and Jake Lewis, and Haaland again just edging in front. He's got about a second gap now. Other British rider is Jamie Patterson. He's up to 9th. And Simon Kaczmarek, another one of the Bogdanka boys, he's up now into 10th position ahead of Christian Vidal. Stinius Viking Odegaard, likeable Norwegian rider. And he, of course, the son of Terry Odegaard, who is a commentator for Eurosport. As we now pick up the battle once again as we go into the last third of this race. And I did say at the start of it that it was going to be exciting, and it is exciting. And again, up on the inside, that looks like Wilbeski now is going back in front. Dumoulin, in fact, now back in front. No quarter Astor given, and we've got about a lap and a half to go. And Gaston Garcia has now been caught for 5th. We've got 3 battles of 2. And I think as this season goes on, and these guys just get a little bit more confidence, a little bit more used to the KTM Duke 690 machines, we're going to be seeing some great battles. As again, number 27 there, up on the inside, that's Javi Orellana, and the 2 Spaniards, and Gaston Garcia straight back under him. And you can tell that Gaston there, number 75, on with the red leathers. He's used to racing in Moto 2, and also, of course, racing in Supercross. And you can tell just by the way that that he's riding that that is the case. Here we come then. The leading 2 are on to the final lap. And it's Wilbeski and Dumoulin, and I'm not sure who I'd like to put my money on. At the front, though, it is, of course, the Polish rider, Adrian Pasek, who now has a little bit of a gap. He's got about a second on Hartog. Fairy tale for Hartog in qualifying as Dumoulin slips back up the inside into 3rd position. And this could come down to that last chicane, so let's look out for some shenanigans there. But we're literally halfway around now on the last lap. And what a great race this has been. As I said, 7 laps here at Assen. And the European Junior Cup doesn't fail to disappoint. Number 23 then, he looks over his shoulder, he goes down the back straight. Is this going to be a debut victory for Adrian Pasek from Poland? And what a great way for him to start his championship. Looked like there was a back marker just about to come in shot. I think that was Loris Hunt, but let's see if Loris gets out of the way. But what an absolutely methodical and calculated ride by Pasek. Credit to Hartog, of course, as well, holding on for a fantastic second, and he's going to be happy with that in front of his home crowd while the battle goes on behind. So we're about 5 corners away now then. This is going to be the debut race victory for the youngster from Poland. Onto the back straight, keeping it nice and steady. Through the little right-handed kink. This is where they build up the fastest part of the circuit. Through the dipper, into the long left-hander then. This is where we saw riders tumbling in the Superbike race, but he's got 1 corner to go now. Keep it steady. He knows he's got this one in the bag now, and what a great ride as we come through the chicane. And victory then in the opening round of the championship. He looks behind him, punches the air, and it's victory. And he's absolutely delighted with that, and rightly so. Points to the team hanging over the pit wall. Great second position then for Rob Hartog. And we focus our attention now back for 3rd. And it's Dumoulin. No, it's not. Dumoulin's lost out on the run to the line. And it's Artur Wilbeski who will come through and take the final podium position. And that's Bogdanka 1 and 3. Well, great for the team. Dumoulin looks happy with 4th. And and there's been a crash. There's been another crash on the final corner. That looked like Gaston Garcia. Well, just as I was saying, it looked like a calculated ride. And he looked so steady with that position. It looks like he's gone. And Josh Harlan's gone missing as well. Well, I'm not sure what's happening on this last lap. But just as I was about to say, great showing by the guys that, for keeping it upright. And it's all gone wrong on the last lap for a couple of them. as we now look a little bit further back at some of the other riders just completing the circuit, and Jake Lewis will come across the line in 6th position. As we go around then onto the back part of the circuit, and battles all the way through the field as we look further back. So here we have, and this is a great battle going on. This is for 14th position, and that's Kaz Hashmi. And Kaz, not the ideal weekend, but he's going for it up the inside, and Kaz goes through. So Kaz and the number 26 Sergio Mazanek, and this is for the final points. And Kaz Hashmi comes through to take 14th position, and he'll be happy with that. And Mazanek, as we go into the chicane, didn't want to fight that one too much, but he will collect 15th position and the last point scoring ride then across the line. And that's all of the finishers then completing the race. Great opening round of the European KTM Junior Cup. As I said, it was a fantastic victory for Adrian Pasek on the Bogdanka KTM machine. Fantastic debut wildcarding ride for Rob Hartog. And will we see Rob in any of the other rounds? I think it's, at present it was just the wildcard ride that Rob was going to have. But it would be great if we could see the Dutch youngster in a few other races, and Pasek nearly losing it on the slowing down lap. They wants to be a bit careful with that one. But here we have then the classified results from the opening round. It's Pasek from Hartog, Wilbeski from Dumoulin, Jamie Patterson, and of course Jake Lewis rounding out the top 6. Stinius Viking Odegaard got 11th. Brandon Key, who suffered I think 3 or 4 crashes over the weekend, he picks up 13th position as well. So that is the classified riders. The next round of the championship will take these guys to Italy at the famous Monza circuit. Great circuit for slipstreaming, and that promises to be a really, really good race. Orellana there picking up 8th, just behind Garcia, who I think remounted ahead of Vidal in 10th. And as we said there, Kaz Hashmi just pipping Sergio Mazanek for the final point. And that pretty much rounds out. You can actually follow the European KTM Junior Cup on Superbike News Television as celebrations from Pasek, and well, you get the idea that he's done that before, ladies and gents. But as I was just saying, you can follow the KTM European Junior Cup online at the EuropeanJuniorCup.com. You can also follow the in-depth on-track and off-track action with Superbike TV, and that is sbknewstv.co.uk. The podium celebration just about to happen in the background for these riders as Pasek takes on the victory. So, podium celebrations. I'm not sure that these guys actually get given any alcoholic beverages, but Rob Hartog, you can hear the crowd, they're pleased with that. He looks happy enough to take 2nd position, but the championship leader now by 5 points, 25 points in the bag, and that is for Adrian Pasek. So as I was just saying, you can check out all of the action for the European Junior Cup at sbknewstv.co.uk, where we will be bringing you all of the race action from the European Junior Cup, the World Superbike Championship, the World Supersport Championship, and of course the 2 Superstock Championships as well. If you're wanting other news, of course, superbikenews.co.uk brings you all of the other insights, not just from the European Junior Cup, but all of the action from all of the championships around the world. So that's it then, ladies and gents. My name's been Michael Hill. I hope you've enjoyed this race, the opening round of the championship. We will be bringing you the 2nd round of the championship from Monza, and all of the remaining rounds as the championship goes on. The Polish national anthem, which I've never heard before, rings out. We're going to sign off, and we'll